So guys, welcome back to the channel. Right here we have the Bone Conduction headphones from Reebok. I actually purchased these at Burlington for $14.99, though what I will say is you can actually find them online if they're still available on like Amazon or other websites for about $20. But realistically, you're probably going to get them from Burlington if you're interested after watching this review. So quick specs for this: 6 hours of battery life. They are IPX4 sweat proof, so for the gym lovers out there, you shouldn't have a problem whatsoever. Bone conduction, as you can see, they hook around the ear themselves, which not everyone likes bone conduction headphones, but also not everyone likes clips or ones that go directly into the ear. May be a little invasive for a particular person, so this could be the next best thing for you, and it barely costs any money. Now, more importantly, the quality of sound and of course microphone quality will make a difference to whether this is actually worth the asking price, and we're going to go over both of those things today. Also, it does have a digital display on the side to show the battery life, so there is no app support or anything like that, but don't worry, it does have a bunch of other features and we're going to talk about that. So with that being said, let's get right into this review and not waste any more time. So first things first, these are micro USB. This is everything that comes inside the box. You need to actually lift up. Let me show you real fast. You need to lift this up, out, and then underneath there is the instructions for anyone wondering where it is, because it's not visible when you first unbox this. Now, this is a micro USB cable right here, which is super short. I don't know why they make them this small, but it is what it is. If you already have this at home, you shouldn't have a problem. But for anyone, micro USB was something in the before time, before USB-C, and back when Apple had the big fat lightning cable. But this is what it comes with for a charging device. You have your instruction manual, of course, and we're going to go over that because it shows you the actual settings and the buttons and how to power it on and things like that. But here's the headset itself. And to be honest with you, I actually left the plastic on this part right here, and I'm going to box them back up eventually and give them away. But it's pretty flexible. This is a really flexible headset, as you can see. Look at that. And it's not going to break, though obviously you shouldn't keep twisting this because it is a wire probably running through this to get the left and the right side to work. But like I said before, it is very flexible, so if you happen to drop it, there should be no issues whatsoever. Of course, you do have a this is your reader display, and these are your power buttons. So power button right here, let me put it a little closer. This is a power button, but it also doubles down as volume up. This is volume down. Let me hold that right now and turn it on for you guys, show you how it looks. There you go. Light came on. It does a little jingle, and there's a lot of vibration going on, and it basically shows you the battery life. These are currently at 79%. And if you pull this down, wait, what's happening right here? Okay, there we go. I'm like, it's dying kind of fast right there. And right here you have the micro USB underneath this little latch right here, and then you have a SD card slot. Now, if you're wondering what that is, the SD card slot is for people that want to put music on their PC, plug it into this, and you'll be able to use this device as is without any Bluetooth device whatsoever. But it's 2025, so we're going to kind of avoid that part. Everyone uses Pandora. Me personally, I download my music, so I own it on my PC, and then it's easier for me to just go through my music and things like that. But nevertheless, it's not bad so far. What we need to look at now is the actual instructions. So let me show you guys a couple things before we continue. I'm going to show you how to sync it next and the quality of sound and whatnot. So again, when you look at these buttons, you have the volume button right there. That's number one. You have number two is volume down, display screen, and the port. That's all the buttons. There's nothing else really to this. And then it actually shows you how to use it, the button functionality right here. So let me just keep this page open right here for anyone that is interested in how it actually works that way. Give it a couple seconds. Make sure you take a picture of it or just screenshot it, however you decide to do this. And outside of that, there's really nothing else there. You're not going to get a notification or anything like that. Just power it on. It's going to put itself automatically in sync mode, and then you're pretty much good to go. But with that being said, like I said, this is a nice looking headset. I mean, it's not bad for $14 so far, at least physically. Like a lot of the bone conductions I've used in the past weren't this flexible at all. They were like, this part was extremely, judge me if you want, this part was extremely solid, let me put it that way, where it gave no flexibility. But this one will fit on different head shapes. My wife tried it. She's not a huge fan of bone conduction, but they didn't cause her any problems or discomfort whatsoever. I tried it and I like it so far. And you know, well, I like the fit and feel so far. We got to talk about the sound in a moment. But that being said, let's pretty much move on. So the sync process is going to be very simple. these are the buttons right here. Just kind of reiterate that for anyone that skipped the opening. You're going to hold this until it powers on. All right. So it does a bunch of vibrating features, and it's going to put itself in pairing mode right now. And of course, the battery meter is on the right-hand side for anyone wondering about that. There is no app support for this particular product. Let me go to the settings if I can find it. Here, we're going to go to Bluetooth. So again, any device you're using in terms of like a phone or a tablet, it's going to be the same process. Bluetooth, and it's going to search it. RBK5002. That is going to be the name of the headset. For Apple users, when you tap it, it's going to pair. For Android users, you have to actually press pair when you're done. And boom, you are good to go. These are currently connected. That's it. So like I said, it's a very easy process to get these working. Follow this and you should have no problems. And for anyone else wondering, no, they do not have any multi-point, unfortunately. So this is the headset right here. I'm going to show you how to put it on real fast. All you have to do is just hook it behind your ears. These go behind like so. And this is how it looks when it's on your ear. So they don't go directly into your ears because that's what bone conduction does. They hover over your ear canal right here. So that way, when you play music, it won't blast directly in your ear, which is pretty self-explanatory. But for people that just aren't familiar with it, I don't mind explaining that to you. So let me just turn. This is how it looks. And like I said before, this is super flexible right here. So even if you move back and forth, you know, some other bone conduction headphones tend to have hard plastic going all the way around it, so it can be very uncomfortable. But the Reebok one is more so built for maximum comfort and longevity. So that is a good thing. That really is a good thing. On top of that, as you guys already know, I wear glasses. So if I put these on my face on top of those, it does press down a little bit on here, right here. But I don't feel any discomfort whatsoever. Now, the most I personally have wore these are about 4 hours or so. And again, I didn't have any soreness. I didn't have any type of irritation behind my ears whatsoever. And like I said before, as a glasses wearer, it's very important for me to find a headset that feels good on the head. And this does a really good job of that. So you can probably wear this all day, jog, do whatever it is that you want to do. And you should have no problems, go outside, do errands and all that. I think you'll like it in terms of fit and feel, but the bigger question is the quality of sound, and that's where things, I'm not going to say it takes a slight turn, but you know, just pay attention to what I have to say next. So the music quality on this is actually pretty good, believe it or not. With the combination of fit and feel and music quality, I do think that a person that finds this in a store, you might have been skeptical about the Reebok brand with bone conduction, as I was, but the music quality is really good, and believe it or not, the maximum volume can get pretty loud. Not enough to really drown out noise outside where a bunch of people are walking past you, cars going past and all that stuff. If you're just using them for everyday usage, I think the 6 hours might be good for some people, but 6 hours is pretty short in terms of battery life. But again, if you're going to the gym, you're driving, you're running errands and things like that, it's not bad at all. Now, obviously this is the music section, so let me talk about that. The bass in this is not bad. They do vibrate a lot on the side of your skull. So if you have it at about 50-60% volume, these parts are going to shake. It's going to vibrate. They did a really good job with the vibration aspect, but you know, it can cause headaches in that regard if you have it too loud. So me personally, I did turn it down to about 40-50%, 60 maximum, and that was the sweet spot for getting the best quality of sound. If you go past that, it doesn't screech, the sound doesn't bleed and start acting up, but you could definitely tell that it's unnatural for it to go to higher octaves, because no one should listen to anything at 80, 90, and 100%. If you're doing that, you're probably going to have damaged eardrums over time. But the bass was not bad. That was the most pronounced thing in this, along with the voices. The voices and the bass in this is actually pretty good. Now, if you're listening to Turn On the Lights by Future, it sounds great. If you're listening to Lamb of God, Redneck, it doesn't do too well with that type of music. If you're listening to Korn, Freak on a Leash, certain parts of the song sounds better than others. What I will say is that overall, I think the listening experience is very good, but certain genres of music don't really perform that well the way it would if you were to have a regular headset. So kind of keep that in mind. But let me deep dive a little bit deeper. Deep dive a little bit deeper. Like I said, vocals sound great. Let me think of a song that I played. Here's a good one. Paper Moon. I listened to that. I listened to a couple of the intros to Hajime no Ippo. If you heard of Samurai and Cyberpunk, I don't know if that's a real group or not, but I listened to a lot of the songs that they have in the Cyberpunk discography, and a lot of that is like heavy metal and stuff, right? And what I noticed was the bass was able to keep up for the most part. The vocals sound clear and crisp, even if I turned it up or turned it down, where the voices didn't sound like it was bleeding. But when it played the instruments in the background, a lot of the instruments is like just kind of tone deaf, where everything is at the same octave. It sounds like the voices and the bass are the more prominent aspects of the headset. Now, for the average person, I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. That's actually going to be a pretty good thing, because it means it's well-rounded. So R&B music, Childish Gambino, I listened to a couple of his songs. What's that group called? Savage Garden, Future. I listened to Juice WRLD. All the songs sound really, really good. You are going to notice some subtle differences where certain parts of the song is a little bit lower than others, or certain instruments, keyboards or pianos and stuff might sound a little bit drowned out compared to the other parts of the songs. But overall, I do think it's a really good experience. So for anyone that purchases this, I was pleasantly surprised. Like when I saw this, looked at the box, I'm like, these cheap looking headphones. But yeah, it did actually hold up with music pretty well. So kind of keep that in mind. But I also want to say one last thing. If you're new to bone conduction headphones, do not think that these are going to outperform regular earbuds. They're not going to outperform. Bone conduction will probably never have the same quality. And even if it did, because of the vibration and where they're sitting on the ears, it can cause problems. Like it'll vibrate in this actual part that you see right here, and it can get sore on the side of your head. So just make sure you don't listen to it too loud. Test them out yourself and find a sweet spot for you. I can tell you whatever I listen to, but it doesn't mean it works for you. And we all should just be, safety first when it comes to listening to music. But hopefully this section helped you.
So this right here is going to be a sound sample of the Reebok headphones. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I happened to listen to this originally, and I thought I could re-record it and kind of talk to you about this. The audio quality for talking to people is not good on this, if we're being completely honest here. It's not the clearest. It sounds kind of muffled, like what you're hearing right now. But if you're buying these primarily for exercise and things like that, I do think it's good enough to be able to answer a phone call, have a conversation with someone, and then go about your business. If you're going to use these for your business calls, well, you might want to reconsider buying a better overall headset, using a particular microphone, or better yet, just put your phone on speakerphone. But again, I do think that this part is necessary for the person out there wondering if it has an all-around package. Music quality is pretty good, fit and feel is pretty good, battery life is pretty average at 6 hours. Do wish the microphones were sharper than what we're hearing right now, but it's $14.99, so you only expect so much. But for the asking price, it's all right.
So the question to ask ourselves now is, are these worth the asking price? And I'm going to say absolutely. I like the way these sound. I know some people probably heard the profile for the actual call quality. It's not a high-end headset, and I don't expect it to be, but it does perform pretty well. If you happen to be in your local Burlington Coat Factory, I might have said Ross in this video, so I apologize for that. But if you're in your local Burlington Coat Factory, you come across these, you just need something to put on for the gym, to do something, you want to be a little bit more active, run outside and stuff like that, this will serve you perfectly fine. And again, if you go online and look at bone conduction headphones, you're going to find so many different brands out there that are going to outperform this. But sometimes in life, and actually not sometimes, a lot of times in life, you want what works for you, not necessarily what everyone else wants. I came into this completely blind, thinking that this wasn't going to be a decent headset, and it turned out the sound was actually pretty good, and I'm not mad about that. And like I said before, you have that option for the SD card slot underneath here where the charger port is, but I'm not going to use that. I don't even own any SD card slots anymore, SD cards really, outside of the ones that are inside my Steam Deck. I don't have anything like that. And Pandora, whatever Bluetooth device you decide to use, if you download music directly to your computer or your Android or whatever it is that you do, these are just Bluetooth devices, and it's not bad for what it does. It's not bad for the asking price. I was pleasantly surprised, and I say go ahead and purchase it. And worst case scenario, hold on to your receipt. Keep the box, try them out. If it's not for you, take them back to the store. They do give you the opportunity to do that. So it doesn't hurt to try things for yourself, because what I like or dislike, you may not. And listen, there's a big technical world out there. But anyway, like and subscribe like always. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care, peace, and be safe.